With Hurricane Helene just upgraded to what they're calling now an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane.
Landfall thereafter south of Tallahassee leads to an unsurvivable ocean level rise.
I got a bad feeling about this one.
We will see unprecedented damage like nothing we have ever experienced before as a community.
Hurricane Helene has only just started as I'm beginning this documentary, but stay tuned to hear the true terror this record-breaking storm has caused. I fear this will go down in history. Hurricane Helene started off as a Category 1 tropical storm, as do most hurricanes, but this one was different. You could just feel it. Within hours, it grew from a Category 1 to a Category 2 with winds reaching up to 90 miles per hour. It didn't take long for that Category 2 to become a Category 3 as it flew just over Cancun, Mexico, among other cities in Mexico, but I've only obtained videotape from Cancun. It flooded just about 3 feet of water, affecting all that lived there. I have some footage I've managed to gather from the flooding in Cancun. As you can see in this footage, this white car is halfway submerged into the flooding of Helene. Businesses are literally drowning from the severity of Helene. And here's a closer look at that white car we just saw a minute ago. Right after this, Helene decided to just float around the Gulf of Mexico, still causing hell to other countries around it. With the outer bands of the hurricane, soon it would make its way to Florida. The meteorologists predicted that it would not make landfall until the top of the panhandle in Florida, then follow through all the way to the beginning of Georgia before it even began to simmer down. However, we would soon find out how different this would play out. On the day before Helene was supposed to make its way to Florida, people began to prepare. Some people made their way to stores to gather all resources needed, as many others decided to already evacuate before the governor and President Joe Biden even gave the order. Once Helene had finally made its way to Florida, the strength of just the outer bands alone took us by surprise. Just look at this footage from all over Lee County. Over in Cape Coral, Florida, somebody's home camera picked up Helene's strength and power. As we can see in this video, the wind starts to pick up aggressively, which is said to be likely a tornado touching down, literally ripping this white fence apart completely and throwing it all around the backyard. Next up, we have Fort Myers, Florida, which was literally submerged underwater. People were asked to write their name and date of birth on their body with permanent marker because search rescue was not able to get them to safety in time. Here's a video I found of Fort Myers Beach. As we can see, the roads no longer exist and everything seems to be floating down this river caused by Helene. Even the news reporter struggles to give her take on the situation because of just how strong Helene is. That's not all, but it's all that I'm going to cover for Lee County. Here's some more videotape of all around Florida. This video here was taken in Steinhatchee, Florida, with the houses literally floating away. You can only imagine how high that water must be, let alone the strength Helene provided for this to happen. From our previous tapes to this one, now you can see that Helene is only growing and doesn't plan to stop anytime soon. Next up, we have CCTV traffic light footage of cars quite literally sinking as the water rises and the wind picks up. This is not something to be taken lightly. These natural disasters have changed the way our lives will go on moving forward. The scariest part about this is from every place I've showed so far is only from the outer bands. The hurricane hadn't even made landfall yet and was still causing all of these heartbreaking events. Given that we've only showed the outer bands, let's move on to the first to catch full-on landfall. Tampa, Florida was unfortunately caught in one of the two eyes that Helene has, which is not very common for a hurricane to have. This is a compilation of videos I have found from Tampa. But before that, take a listen to a call that was given to everyone in the Pasco County area.
This is an important message from Pasco County. Please listen to the message and confirm as directed.
Hurricane Helene is hours away from impacting Pasco County. A mandatory evacuation order is in effect for everyone living in Zone A or in a mobile home. If that's you, you must leave now. You're running out of time to get to safety. Pasco is expecting extremely dangerous storm surge, and it is not safe to stay in homes along Pasco's coastline. A voluntary evacuation order is in effect for zones B and C, and we encourage you to leave those zones as well. Visit mypasco.net to check your zone. Shelters are open, and you can request a ride by calling Pasco Customer Service at 727-847-2411. Thank you.
That was truly chilling. I can't imagine getting a call telling me that time's running out. Anyways, let's take a look at these videos from the Tampa area. As you take a look at these, I just want to talk about how truly devastating that this is what a hurricane can do to our lives. As I stated earlier, it is not something to be taken lightly. You should always be ready to take shelter and be prepared if not completely evacuate. This is beyond the Earth's control. There's nothing we can do to stop this. So next time you hear a hurricane is coming into town, just remember to have flashlights, canned foods recommended, water bottles, candles, portable chargers, fully charged and ready to go, and a generator if you can. Also remember to block all windows with shutters and all doors with sandbags. And even with that, make sure to stay away from both windows and doors, because with wind and rain like that, anything can happen. Anyways, that was my compilation from Tampa, Florida. As bad as that looked, it only became worse. There are dozens and dozens of cities and towns that I haven't even covered yet, but we'll get to that. Next up, we have the Panhandle of Florida. Right at the top, you'll see Jacksonville, Florida, which got hit next. These are some videos that I have recovered from the internet. Now, as you can see, this just keeps getting worse. This river you see right now was once a road. But as stated many times before, Helene just keeps gaining momentum and strength to cause stuff like this to happen over and over again. According to the news, this is inside of a hotel up there, and this is just mind-blowing. I can't even fathom, nor can I grasp that this is real life. But oh boy, there's more to come. So you see, right after Helene did this to Florida, it was said to slow down and go back to a tropical storm before it hit Georgia. But it didn't. In fact, the footage you're about to see in a moment is traumatizing and just unbelievable. This is live footage from Atlanta, Georgia. And as you can see, first responders are literally dragging people from the water to safety repeatedly. Because, well, it all happens so fast, nobody has time to evacuate nor to prepare. This is some more videotape I've found from Helene hitting Atlanta. As we can see, this murky water is once again turning roads into lakes. One more thing I want to talk about is how unsafe this water is. You do not want to touch it with an open cut because you'll end up with infections I can't even fathom. And if your house starts to get flooded, stay at the highest point of your home. If not, make your way on top of the roof. Again, this is no joke. Just look at these damages. There are literally people on top of a hospital building just to stay safe. There are so many other videos I have to show you, but I just want to take a moment of silence for all the lives lost and give out a silent prayer of my own to all the families who have dealt with this. Although there are so many more cities I have to cover, I'm only going to show a few more videos because as we speak, there's another 2 more hurricanes brewing and coming right at us again. I'm going to leave you guys here to watch these videos I've found from all across Florida, Georgia, and Tennessee. Now, once again, that's not all, but it's time to wrap it up given that I have 2 more hurricanes coming my way over here in Florida that I have to prepare for. This has been the documentary of Hurricane Helene. Stay tuned to hear other stories just like this one, and make sure to subscribe and comment what you want me to cover next. This has been Austin Zane covering the tragedy of Hurricane Helene. Until next time, I'm out.